So, in terms of this identity and this mindset, so we wake up and we say, "I am insert," "I am committed." How do we go about reinforcing that? Because it doesn't sound like if we want to really create that roadway, that highway, or the interstate in the states example, how do we go about building that thing up and making it to the point where I'm no longer going on that back road. I'm using this new one that serves me better. Where do we go? How do we even start this?
So this may seem a little out there, but Albert Einstein used what he called creative daydreaming, which is basically your imagination, which is basically light self hypnosis. So once you begin to build these blocks, so you decide what it looks like to be committed. And as you take those small steps, you celebrate every time that you've been committed. When you, so many times, like we will do something that, is a step towards our goal. And we look at it through the lens of, yeah, that's what I expected of myself, instead of, yes, I'm doing it. Think of yourself as that little kid playing t-ball, and the ball is on the little thing. Like all he has, nobody's pitching the ball to him. All he's got to do is whack the ball off the stand, and everybody's like, yeah, yeah, run, run. We have to do that sometimes to our subconscious mind. We have to celebrate our little wins, because motivation and momentum comes from recognition of success. That's what gets, that's what begins to push us. When I became a runner for a little while, and the thing that got me going was in the beginning, I really had to struggle to go. But once I got started, I'm like, oh my gosh, look, I can run 3 and 4 miles at a pop. And then I actually looked forward to it because I had already accomplished. Now, the visualization piece, like you can download self-hypnosis audios. You could go see a hypnotist, but if you can just take 2 or 3 nice deep breaths and close your eyes and just pretend you're a kid, and the imaginary playmate or whatever, and just visualize yourself having that success, doing those committed steps with the feeling and emotion of the success at the end. That's really all you need to do, is use your imagination. So, and do it
I
several times a day.
Right, right. And okay, so just so I can summarize where we've to the point where we are now. So first and foremost, you have to decide what where you're trying to go, but also what characteristics does that have. So, for example, I'm big on respect influence. So respect in leadership. So if I want to be a leader that is respected, or I use respect leadership, I have to decide, okay, well, I'm going to be respectful, I'm going to be compassionate, I'm going to be empathetic, for example. So I decide kind of the end state, I decide what characteristics or attributes go into that, and then once I've arrived at that, the one to three, let's say, attributes or characteristics, now I visualize, call it creative daydreaming. And Einstein, of all people, creative daydreaming really is, seems like a big disconnect, but I've heard that many times as well. So then we go about visualizing it or imagining it, but along the way it's important for us to recognize the wins. So that could be as simple as, I just had a conversation with a teammate and I was respectful for them to them, and that's kind of a win. And then what that probably does is it creates that positive feedback loop in the brain that says, hey, that's actually really good, let's do more of that, and let's continue using this kind of neural pathway. Is that
Yeah.
kind of the summary?
Yeah, it's just that positive reinforcement. And if it's something that feels really good to you, that you've done that, it, it generates emotion in the brain, and emotion is what places importance on things in the subconscious.